My beloved child, be still before you move into another thought, task, worry, reason to pretend that nothing inside you is asking to be heard. Let the noise around you fall back. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath become honest. I am not calling you into silence to make you feel alone. I am calling you into silence because places in your soul have been speaking softly for a long time, and you have been too tired to listen. There are pains you no longer mention, not because they disappeared, but because you learned how to function around them. There are memories you no longer cry over, not because they lost their power, but because you taught your face to stay calm while your heart kept carrying the weight. You answer messages. You do what must be done. You smile when expected. Yet deep within there are rooms you pass by quickly, because if you open the door, you fear you will feel everything you have been avoiding. My beloved child, I do not shame you for learning how to survive. I know the seasons when survival was all you had. I saw you wake with a heavy heart and choose to keep going. I saw you swallow words because explaining pain felt harder than hiding it. I saw the nights when you looked fine to others while your spirit felt like a candle burning low in a house no one had visited for years. Hear me clearly. Survival was a shelter for a season. It was never meant to become your home. Do not call numbness peace. Do not call silence healing. Do not call a closed heart wisdom, because it has protected you from being disappointed again. A locked door may keep danger outside, but it can also keep light from entering. A bandage may cover a wound, but if the wound beneath it is never cleaned, the covering becomes another burden. I am asking you to let me come near with mercy, truth, and the patience of a father who knows exactly where the ache began. You have told yourself that time will fix everything. Sometimes time softens the sharp edge of a memory, but time alone does not heal what has never been brought into my presence. Dust can cover an old table, but dust does not make it new. Distance can make a wound quieter, but distance does not always make it whole. I am the one who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, as the Psalms declare. I do not tell you to live with hidden pain forever. I say, bring it to me, because my hands still restore bruised places. My beloved child, there are burdens you accepted because you thought no one else would carry them. There are fears you dressed up as responsibility. There are disappointments you buried beneath work, kindness, humor, and the familiar words, I am fine. But I have never been fooled by the mask you wore to make everyone else comfortable. I heard the prayer you did not know how to finish. I understood the tears you pushed back before they reached your eyes. I saw hope try to rise, then step back because you were afraid to be let down. Be still, not because everything is easy, but because I am here in what feels unfinished. Be still, not because your questions have vanished, but because my presence is stronger than the confusion pressing against you. Be still, not because you have become strong enough, but because you no longer have to prove strength before me. When my word says that I know when you sit down and when you rise up, it is not the knowledge of a stranger watching. It is the knowledge of a father near every hidden night. There is a part of you that has been waiting for permission to stop pretending. Let this be that moment. You do not need to arrange your emotions in perfect order before you come close. You do not need to explain every wound with beautiful words. You do not need to understand why some things still hurt after so much time has passed. Come as you are. Come with the tired places. Come with the guarded places. Come with the questions you feared because you thought faith meant never admitting confusion. Faith is not denial, my beloved child. Faith is bringing the truth into my light and trusting that my love will not turn away. Faith is not forcing your soul to smile while it is bleeding. Faith is allowing me to touch what you have hidden, so the wound no longer has to rule you from the dark. I do not want a polished version of you. I want the real place where fear has been sitting, where grief has built a small home, where disappointment has whispered that nothing good can grow again. Listen closely. The fact that you have carried pain for a long time does not mean pain belongs to you. The fact that you have grown used to heaviness does not mean heaviness is your calling. The fact that you have learned to walk with a limp in your spirit does not mean I cannot teach you to stand again. I have restored dry bones. I have opened prison doors. I have brought water from hard places. I have turned mourning into praise. What feels sealed is not sealed to me. So slow down, my beloved child. Let your heart come out from the corner where it has been hiding. Let the tired part of you hear my voice without running away. I am not here to condemn what is wounded. I am here to heal it. I am not here to expose you for shame. I am here to bring light where shame has spoken too loudly. I am not here to demand that you become whole by your own strength. I am here to begin the work patiently, deeply, and faithfully. Today, before you continue into another day carrying the same invisible weight, place it before me. Name what you can name. Release what you cannot explain. Sit with me if all you have is silence. I can work with silence. I can understand tears. I can hear the ache beneath your breathing. As you become still, you will notice I was not distant from the pain you hid. I was waiting at the door, ready to enter, ready to heal, ready to show you that your soul was made for life and restoration. My beloved child, now that your heart has slowed enough to hear me, let me ask what love must ask when it comes near a wounded soul. Do you want to be made well, not only comforted for a moment, not only understood by someone who finally sees your pain, not only given enough strength for another tomorrow? I am asking whether you are ready to let my hand reach the place beneath the pain, the place where fear learned your name, the place where hope became careful. There is a difference between wanting relief and wanting healing. Relief asks for the pressure to lift for a little while. Healing asks for the chain to be broken. Relief wants the tears to stop. Healing allows the tears to speak until the hidden wound can no longer hide. Relief says, help me feel better today. Healing says, Father, touch the root even if I tremble while you do it. My beloved child, I know why this question can feel frightening. Pain can become familiar after it has lived beside you long enough. A burden can become part of your daily rhythm. A wound can become identity. You may not love the hurt, but you may know how to live around it. You may know how to protect it, explain it, excuse it, and build around it. Healing means the old story will no longer be allowed to lead you. Think of the man who waited by the pool of Bethesda. For many years, he lay near the place where others hoped for healing. He was close to movement, close to stories of miracles, close to water that promised change, yet still trapped in the same weakness. When my son saw him there, he did not begin by accusing him. He did not shame him for the years lost. He asked a deeper question. Do you want to be made well? That question was not asked because heaven lacked knowledge. I already knew his pain. I knew the pain of watching others move. I knew the ache of waiting so long that waiting itself had become a prison. But my son asked because the soul must be invited to stop agreeing with captivity. A person can sit beside a doorway and still fear walking through it. A person can pray for change and still cling to patterns that make change feel impossible. My beloved child, this is where I meet you today. You have prayed for peace, but have you allowed me to challenge the thoughts that keep stealing it? You have asked for restoration, but will you release the bitterness you carried as proof? You have asked to feel alive again, but will you let me remove the habits that keep your heart numb? You have asked for a new season, but will you stop sleeping beside old pain as though it still owns you? I do not ask these questions to wound you. I ask because I love you too deeply to let you decorate the place that has confined you. I do not want you to make a comfortable corner out of something I came to deliver you from. I do not want you to polish the chains and call them wisdom. I do not want you to keep explaining why you cannot rise while my voice calls life into your bones. Yes, healing may require you to stand differently. It may require you to forgive without pretending the wrong was small. It may require you to grieve what you kept minimizing. It may require you to stop blaming yourself for what was never yours to carry. It may require you to admit that some voices and memories held more authority than my truth. But I will not drag you forward. I will call by love until courage awakens. My beloved child, I know there is a part of you that wonders who you would be healed. If that wound no longer explained your distance, your fear, your hesitation, what would remain? Listen to me. What would remain is not emptiness. What would remain is the child I created before sorrow taught you how to hide. What would remain is tenderness without weakness, strength without hardness, wisdom without suspicion, and hope without the panic that says joy will be taken away. You do not have to know every step before you answer me. The man by the pool did not understand the road ahead when my son spoke. He only had to receive the word given in that moment. Rise. Take up what once carried your story of helplessness. Walk. That command was not cruel. It was mercy with authority. It was life entering a place ruled by waiting. So I speak gently but clearly to you now. Rise from the agreement made with despair. Rise from the belief that this is simply who you are. Rise from the sentence you placed over your heart. Rise from the habit of delaying healing until life becomes easier. My grace does not need perfect conditions to begin. My presence can meet you here amid questions and trembling faith. Do not say, I will come when I am stronger. Come while you are weak. Do not say, I will open this place when I understand it. Open it while you are still unsure. Do not say, I will trust when I feel no fear. Trust me with the fear still in your hands. I can receive what you cannot organize. I can heal what you cannot explain. I can lift what you have carried so long that your soul forgot it was heavy. My beloved child, being made well is not only leaving pain behind. It is also about learning to live without letting pain choose your future. It is about allowing my truth to become louder than the voices that broke you. It is about letting my love touch the parts that learn to flinch before resting. It is about receiving a new way to breathe trust and walk with me. So answer me in your quiet heart. Do you want to be made well? If your answer is only a whisper, I hear it. If your answer comes with tears, I receive them. If your answer is mixed with fear, I will not turn away. Give me the smallest yes you have, and I will begin there. I will not crush you. I will not shame the tired soul. I will meet your yes with mercy, and I will teach you how to rise. And as you rise, my beloved child, you will begin to see why your protective walls cannot remain forever. Some guarded places must soften. Some locked doors must open. Some hardness must be touched by grace. This is where the next work begins. Not outside you, but within the places that learn to close. I will not leave those places untouched. I will come with patience, and I will teach your heart to live open again slowly. I will show you how to be safe without becoming stone, how to be wise without becoming closed, and how to let healing move deeper than survival. My beloved child, as I come near the places that learn to close, do not mistake my touch for danger. I know why your heart built walls. I know why certain doors inside you were locked. You were hurt where you expected care. You were misunderstood where you hoped to be received. You trusted, and something in you was bruised by the weight of disappointment. So you told yourself that the safest life would be a guarded life. You told yourself that if no one could come close enough, no one could wound you deeply again. But listen to me with tenderness. A wall can protect for a night, yet become a prison over time. A locked room can keep out an enemy, yet also keep out the morning air. A heart can become so skilled at avoiding pain that it also avoids joy, affection, peace, and the gentle comfort I send through people, prayer, and grace. My beloved child, not every wall is wisdom. Some walls are fear wearing the clothes of maturity. You have called it discernment when sometimes it was only exhaustion. You have called it strength when sometimes it was the fear of needing anyone. You have called it independence when deep inside you were simply tired of being disappointed. I do not condemn you for this. I understand the story behind every stone in that wall. I know the conversation that made you shut down. I know the betrayal that made your spirit pull back. I know the rejection that taught you to expect less so it would hurt less. Yet I am asking you to let me teach your heart a better way. I do not want you careless. I do not want you naive. I do not want you to hand your soul to every voice that speaks softly. Wisdom guards the heart, but fear buries it. Wisdom watches the door, but fear bricks it shut. Wisdom listens for my peace, but fear listens only for signs of danger. I want to give you a heart that is open to light and guarded by truth. My beloved child, I promised through the prophet Ezekiel that I would remove the heart of stone and give a heart of flesh. This does not mean I make you weak. It means I make you alive again. A heart of flesh can feel without being ruled by feeling. It can love without losing itself. It can forgive without denying harm. It can set boundaries without becoming cold. It can trust me even when it does not yet understand people. You may think hardness has made you safe, but hardness cannot heal you. It may stop certain tears, but it also stops the flow of tenderness. It may silence the ache for a while, but it also silences the part of you that still longs to receive. I did not create you to become stone. I created you to be rooted alive, steady, and able to bend in the winds of life without breaking. A living tree is not weak because it moves with the wind. It is alive because its roots are deep. Remember Thomas, who struggled to believe after my son rose from the grave. His pain and confusion made him say he would not believe unless he saw the wounds. My son did not cast him away for needing reassurance. He came near and invited Thomas to see and believe. but he also called him beyond the prison of proof into the blessing of trust. My beloved child, I will meet you in your guarded questions, but I will not leave you trapped inside them forever. Some of your walls were built from old voices. Someone told you that your feelings were too much. Someone treated your softness like a weakness. Someone made you feel foolish for hoping. Someone left when you needed them to stay. And little by little, your heart learned to lower its expectations, quiet its needs, and hide its tenderness. But I saw what happened. I saw the child inside you learn to become careful. I saw the adult inside you learn to call that carefulness peace. Come closer. Let me tell you the truth. Peace is not the absence of feeling. Peace is my presence holding you steady while feeling moves through you. Strength is not the refusal to need comfort. Strength is having the courage to receive comfort without shame. Wisdom is not closing your heart to avoid every possible wound. Wisdom is walking with me closely enough to know what should enter, what should wait, and what should be left outside. My beloved child, I am not asking you to tear down every wall in one moment. I work gently. I remove stones with patience. Today, perhaps I will only touch one place where suspicion has become habit. Tomorrow, I may soften one memory that still makes you flinch. Another day, I may show you that a certain boundary is holy, while another barrier was built by fear. I know the difference, and I will teach you the difference if you let me. Do not be afraid when tenderness begins to return. At first, it may feel unsafe because hardness has been familiar. Tears may rise, old grief may speak. You may feel exposed as though the armor you wore for years is being loosened piece by piece. But my beloved child, I do not remove armor to leave you defenseless. I remove false armor so I can clothe you with truth, love, and the quiet strength of my spirit. The world may tell you to become colder so no one can touch you. I tell you to become wiser so darkness cannot rule you. The world may say trust no one. I say trust me first and let me guide what you open and what you close. The world may teach you to hide your heart until it forgets how to beat freely. I teach you to guard your heart because from it flow the springs of life, as Proverbs says. So let my hand rest upon the walls within you. Let me speak to the stones that fear placed there. Let me show you which ones must remain as boundaries and which ones must fall as prisons. You do not have to become unprotected to become healed. You do not have to become hard to become wise. There is a holy middle place where your heart can be tender, in my presence, steady in storms, careful with darkness, and still open to the love I send. As I soften what has become stone, my beloved child, you will begin to feel the garden inside you breathing again. What was dry will not be dry forever. What was closed will not remain closed forever. The next work will not only remove walls, it will call life back into the ground behind them. What I plant there will not be fragile hope that disappears with one hard day, but a living trust that keeps rising because its source is me, and my mercy will guard it. I will teach you to bloom again where you once only survived. My beloved child, as the walls within you soften, do not be surprised when the ground behind them looks tired. Some places in your heart have been closed for so long that they may not look like a garden at first. They may look dry. They may look forgotten. They may look like soil that has waded through silent seasons. But I am not discouraged by what you call barren. I know what. My breath can awaken. You were not born to remain a hidden field where nothing new can grow. You were not created to live forever beside the memory of what wounded you. You were made to receive life, to carry hope, to become fruitful in ways that your pain once told you were impossible. My beloved child, what has been dry in you is not too dry for me. What has been silent in you is not too silent for my voice. There are places inside you where joy once grew easily. You remember them faintly, a lighter laugh, a simpler trust, a softer way of looking at the morning, a heart that did not expect every blessing to be followed by loss. Then life happened. Words struck like cold wind. Disappointment settled like dust. People left marks they never stayed to heal. And little by little, the garden inside you began to close its petals before the sun had even risen. I saw it all. I saw when hope bent low. I saw when tenderness hid beneath caution. I saw when you stopped asking for beautiful things because you were tired of being disappointed. I saw when you began to think that surviving quietly was the best you could expect. But hear me clearly. Survival is not the end of my plan for you. I did not place a living soul inside you merely to keep breathing under a heavy sky. My word says that those who trust in me will be like a tree planted by water, sending out roots by the stream, not fearing when heat comes, and not failing to bear fruit. My beloved child, this is what I desire for you. Not a life untouched by heat, but a life rooted so deeply in me that heat cannot destroy what I am growing. Not a heart that never remembers pain, but a heart where pain is no longer the gardener. You may wonder how blooming can happen after so much has been lost. Let me answer gently. Blooming does not mean forgetting every winter. Blooming means winter did not have the final word. It means the cold season came, but my life remained beneath the surface. It means the branch looked empty for a while, but emptiness was not death. It means the seed was hidden in darkness, yet still held a future I had not abandoned. Remember Ruth, who walked through loss, grief, and uncertainty. She left what was familiar and stepped into a future she could not fully see. In the fields of Boaz, while she was simply gathering what she could, I was arranging mercy ahead of her. Her story did not end in widowhood. Her emptiness was not the final chapter. My beloved child, I can lead you the same way, from loss into provision, from loneliness into belonging, from a field of tears into a harvest of grace. Do not despise small beginnings. A garden does not return in one breath. First the soil softens, then the hidden root receives moisture, then a tiny green sign appears small. That is how I often restore a soul. I begin with one honest prayer, one moment of peace, one memory that no longer crushes you, one morning where breathing feels less heavy, one quiet desire to live again. My beloved child, let those small signs matter. Do not say this is nothing because it is not everything. Do not reject the first leaf because the whole tree has not returned. Do not call my slow work weak. I am patient because I am thorough. I do not only want to make you look restored on the outside. I want to heal the root, strengthen the stem, renew the fruit, and teach your heart how to receive sunlight again. There are weeds I must remove with care. Bitterness that entered when someone hurt you. Shame that grew where you blamed yourself. Fear that wrapped itself around your expectations. Weariness that made you believe joy was childish. I will not rip through your soul with violence. I will work as the faithful gardener, naming what does not belong, loosening what has tangled itself around your hope, and clearing space for what carries life. When I prune, it is not because I hate the branch. My son taught that the Father prunes the fruitful branch so it may bear more fruit. Pruning may feel like loss at first. It may look like me asking you to release what you thought you needed. A habit, a false comfort, a relationship to your old pain, a belief that kept you small but familiar. Yet, my beloved child, what I remove in love makes room for what can grow in truth. You do not need to force yourself to bloom. You need to remain with me. Flowers do not argue with the sun. Branches do not heal themselves by striving. They receive. They stay connected. They open when the season comes. So stay close to my presence. Let my word water you. Let my spirit breathe over the closed places. Let my love reach the parts of you that forgot how to be tender without fear. There will be days when you still feel dry. Do not call those days failure. There will be moments when old sorrow rises. Do not call that the end of healing. Restoration is a holy unfolding. Some blossoms appear quietly. Some roots grow where no one can see. Some of my deepest work happens before your feelings know how to celebrate it. Trust me in the hidden process. My beloved child, you were born to bloom again. Not as the same person untouched by sorrow, but as one who has been held through sorrow and made deeper by grace. Your fragrance will not come from a life that never suffered. It will come from a soul that allowed me to turn suffering into compassion, wisdom, prayer, and gentleness. What once made you feel ruined can become a place where my tenderness is revealed. So open the soil of your heart to me. Let me water what is cracked. Let me awaken what has slept. Let me restore color where life turned gray. You are not late for spring in my hands. You are not too damaged for fruit. You are not forgotten in the field. I am bending near, and what I touch will rise. And as this rising begins, you may notice how tired you have been. When the ground softens, it also releases the weight it has held. Do not fear that weariness. I have seen it all along, and in the next place of this, I will speak directly to the exhaustion you tried to hide. My beloved child, as the ground of your heart begins to soften, the tiredness you buried may rise to the surface. Do not be afraid of that weariness. It is not proof that you are failing. It is proof that you have carried more than you were created to carry alone. When soil is finally watered after a long dry season, it releases the dust it has been holding. In the same way, when my presence touches you, the exhaustion you hid beneath strength may finally speak. I have seen that exhaustion, my beloved child. It was never invisible to me. I saw the mornings when you opened your eyes and already felt behind. The room was quiet, the day had only begun, yet your soul felt as if it had been walking all night. You rose because life required it. You answered what needed answering. You worked, you helped, you showed up. But deep inside, something in you whispered that you did not know how much longer you could keep being strong. I saw you smile while carrying thoughts no one around you could hear. I saw you laugh at the right time while your spirit was sitting in a low place. I saw you become dependable for others while quietly wondering who would notice your own heaviness. You have become skilled at moving through the day with a face that does not reveal the weight beneath it. But my beloved child, I do not need your face to explain what your soul is carrying. There are kinds of weariness that sleep alone cannot fix. There is tiredness in the body, and there is tiredness in the heart. There is the fatigue of labor, and there is the deeper fatigue of being misunderstood, disappointed, pressured unseen, and silently afraid. You may rest your body for a night and still wake with a heavy spirit because the burden was not only in your muscles, it was in the hidden places where worry kept speaking after the world became quiet. My beloved child, do not mistake constant motion for strength. Busyness can become a blanket thrown over sorrow. Responsibility can become a language you use to avoid your own need. You keep doing the next thing, then the next thing, then the next thing because stopping feels dangerous. You fear that if you become still, everything you have held back will finally catch up with you. But I am not calling you into stillness to let you collapse. I am calling you there so I can hold what has been chasing you inside. My word says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Notice, my beloved child, I did not say come to me after you have become calm. I did not say come after you have organized your feelings. I did not say come after you understand why you are tired. I said come while weary, come while burdened, come while your hands are full of things you do not know how to set down. I know you have tried to keep yourself together. You believed that if you cried, you might not stop. You believed that if you admitted your weakness, people might think less of you. You believed that if you said you needed help, it would make you a burden. But weakness brought into my presence does not make you smaller. It makes room for my strength to become real in you. A cup cannot be filled while it is pretending not to be empty. Remember the woman who touched the hem of the garment of my son after years of suffering. She had spent strength, time, hope, and resources, yet still carried a condition others could not heal. She came quietly, perhaps afraid to be noticed, yet faith moved her close enough to reach. My son did not ignore her hidden exhaustion. He stopped. He saw her. He called her daughter. He sent her away in peace. My beloved child, that is, my heart toward the weary who reach for me. You may feel as though your need is too quiet to matter. You may think others have heavier burdens, louder prayers, deeper wounds, and therefore you should not bring me your tiredness. But I do not measure pain by comparison. I do not tell one child to be silent because another child is crying. The weight you carry matters to me because you matter to me. Your hidden sighs are not small in my ears. There were nights when you lay awake while the world slept, turning the same worries over and over. There were moments when your chest felt tight with things you never said. There were days when encouragement from others sounded kind, yet could not reach the place where you felt empty. I was near in those moments. I was not waiting for you to perform faith perfectly. I was close to the brokenhearted, as the Psalms declare, and I remained near when your strength ran thin. My beloved child, I do not want you to build a life where exhaustion becomes normal. I do not want you to call heaviness your personality. I do not want you to keep living as though peace is a luxury meant for other people. Peace is not a prize for those who never struggle. Peace is a gift I give to those who return to my arms with honesty. You are allowed to need rest. You are allowed to receive care. You are allowed to stop pretending that being tired makes you unfaithful. You are not weak for needing renewal. Even the lamp must receive oil again. Even the river depends on its source. You were made to draw life from me daily. Let me enter the places where your soul has been overworked. Let me quiet the voice that says you must earn love by never needing anything. Let me loosen the fear that says everything will fall apart if you stop carrying it for one moment. I am not asking you to abandon responsibility. I am teaching you to carry responsibility with me instead of carrying it as though you are alone. So breathe, my beloved child. Let the breath you take become a small surrender. Let your heart say, Father, I am tired, even if that is all you can say. I do not need polished prayers from a weary soul. I receive honest ones. If your words are few, I still understand. If your tears speak first, I still listen. If your silence is all you have left, I can sit with you there. And from this place of being seen, I will invite you closer, not to demand more from you, but to teach you how to come while you are still tired. You do not have to rise instantly. You do not have to pretend you are ready. In the next movement of my voice, I will show you that I have always known how to meet my children in exhaustion, feed them with grace, shelter them with mercy, and call them forward only after I have first given them rest. My beloved child, from the place where your weariness has finally been seen, I want you to come closer, not after you have gathered enough strength, but while your hands still tremble from carrying too much. Do not wait until your soul sounds brave. Do not wait until your prayers feel beautiful. Do not wait until your thoughts are calm and your emotions behave the way you think they should. Come to me while you are still tired, because my rest is not reserved for the already restored. My rest is medicine for the one who knows they cannot heal themselves. You have often believed that you must come to me with a better version of yourself, more faithful, more steady, less confused, less heavy. You have imagined that I am easier to approach when your heart is clean, your voice is confident, and your mind has an answer for every question. But my beloved child, I am not afraid of your unfinished places. I am not offended by your weakness. I am not distant because you have reached the edge of your own strength. I am nearest when your soul stops performing and finally tells the truth. Come while you are tired. Come while your faith feels small. Come while your mind keeps circling the same concern. Come while you do not know what to say, except, Father, help me. I can receive a prayer that is only a breath. I can understand a silence that carries more meaning than many words. I can hold tears that fall before a sentence forms. You do not need to dress up your need before me. Need is not shameful in the arms of the one who made you. Remember Elijah, my beloved child. He had seen fire fall from heaven. He had stood in courage before a watching nation. He had known my power in a way many would call extraordinary. Yet afterward, fear and exhaustion overtook him. He ran into the wilderness and sat beneath a small tree, worn down in body and spirit. He did not sound victorious there. He did not sound strong. He sounded tired enough to stop wanting the road ahead. Did I come to him with anger? Did I ask why he was not more impressive after seeing my power? Did I shame him for being afraid after standing boldly? No, I sent provision before explanation. I sent bread and water. I allowed him to sleep. Then I touched him again. Before I gave him direction, I gave him nourishment. Before I spoke about the next assignment, I cared for the weary man beneath the calling. This is how I meet you too. You may think I will begin by demanding that you rise, fix everything, and become useful again. But I know when your soul needs bread before instruction, water before answers, and rest before movement. I know when your heart has heard too many voices and needs the quiet of my presence more than another plan. I am not a taskmaster standing over your exhaustion. I am your Father bending low with mercy. My beloved child, stop confusing striving with faith. Striving says, if I do more, carry more, prove more, then maybe I will be safe. Faith says, Father, I cannot carry this without you. Striving tightens the chest and calls it responsibility. Faith opens the hands and calls it surrender. Striving fears that rest is weakness. Faith learns that rest in me is obedience, because it admits that I am God and you are my child. You were never created to be your own source. A branch does not live by forcing fruit from itself. It lives by remaining connected to the vine. My son said, apart from me, you can do nothing. This was not spoken to humiliate you. It was spoken to free you from the lie that your life depends on your strength alone. When you remain in me, life flows where effort alone could never reach. Peace returns where pressure once ruled. Fruit grows from connection, not panic. There are burdens you have carried because you believed no one else would understand. Bring them. There are decisions you keep turning over in your mind until your spirit feels thin. Bring them. There are people you love but cannot control. Bring them. There are losses you still grieve in quiet moments. Bring them. There is a version of yourself you are tired of pretending to be. Bring that too. I can hold the truth of you without turning away. My beloved child, when you come to me tired, I do not measure your worth by how quickly you recover. I do not stand with a clock in my hand waiting for you to become cheerful again. Healing has rhythms. Rest has layers. Some wounds need sleep. Some need truth. Some need tears. Some need time in my word until fear loosens its grip. I know the order your soul needs, and I will not rush what must be restored carefully. Let me teach you a different kind of strength. Strength that does not deny exhaustion. Strength that knows when to kneel. Strength that can say, I need help without calling itself a failure. Strength that lets my spirit intercede when words are gone. The scripture says that the spirit helps in weakness, even when the heart does not know how to pray. My beloved child, heaven is not silent when you are speechless. So come closer now. Sit with me in the inward room where you have been trying to keep everything standing. Place the names, fears, bills, memories, questions, and unfinished conversations into my hands. You do not have to solve them all in this moment. You do not have to become peaceful by force. Just come. Let your breathing slow. Let my love be the place where your tired soul stops running. Do not be ashamed if the first thing you feel in my presence is not joy but release. Sometimes the body sighs before the heart sings. Sometimes peace begins as quiet instead of celebration. Sometimes coming home looks like sitting on the floor of your soul and admitting that you are done pretending. I can begin there. I do not despise small returns. I welcome them. A weary child leaning toward me is already moving in the direction of life. Let that be enough for today. The road ahead will not be walked by your strength alone. I will walk it with you, step after step, until rest becomes more than a moment and becomes the rhythm of your trust. Receive this gently and do not rush away. And as you rest, I will begin to restore what exhaustion blurred. I will teach you to hear my voice beneath the noise. I will show you that not every voice around you carries my wisdom. Some words have fed your fear. Some relationships have drained your peace. Some influences have made your soul colder without you noticing. After I give you rest, I will give you discernment so you may know what should remain near your heart and what must be brought into my light. My beloved child, now that I have called you into rest, I want to teach you how to listen again. Rest quiets the storm inside you, but discernment helps you recognize the voices that stirred the storm in the first place. Not every voice around you deserves a seat in your heart. Not every opinion that sounds caring carries wisdom. Not every person who says they want the best for you is leading you closer to my light. I know your heart longs for understanding. You were created for connection, not cold isolation. You were made to love, to receive kindness, to walk beside people who strengthen your faith and steady your spirit. I do not condemn your desire to be known, but my beloved child, closeness without discernment can become a doorway through which confusion enters quietly. A voice can sound gentle and still lead you away from peace. Advice can sound practical and still make your trust in me grow thin. This is why Scripture tells you to test the spirits and see whether they are from God. That word is not meant to make you suspicious of everyone. It is meant to make you watchful. Suspicion sees danger everywhere. Discernment sees clearly. Suspicion closes the heart in fear. Discernment keeps the heart near me and asks, Father, what fruit is this voice producing in me? Ask yourself, my beloved child, after this conversation, do you feel closer to truth or farther from it after spending time with this person? Does your soul feel steady or scattered? Do you remember my promises more clearly, or do you feel pulled into doubt, comparison, shame, and fear? Does this influence make you gentler, wiser, more honest, more prayerful, or does it leave you anxious, defensive, bitter, and spiritually cold? I speak this not to make you reject people quickly, but to help you notice what your soul has been trying to tell you. Sometimes the Holy Spirit warns you with no loud alarm. He may warn through a quiet heaviness after certain words. He may warn through the loss of peace when something appears harmless. He may warn through a small inward pause, a holy hesitation. a gentle knowing that says, "This does not belong in the inner room of your heart." My beloved child, do not ignore the quiet departure of peace. My word says to let the peace of Christ rule in your heart. That peace is not a shallow feeling that appears only when life is easy. It is a holy guide. It stands like a lamp at the gate of your soul. When that lamp flickers around a certain influence, stop and bring the matter to me. Do not rush to defend what may be draining you. There are voices that flatter you but do not strengthen you. There are voices that agree with your wounds instead of helping you heal. There are voices that encourage your fear and call it wisdom. There are voices that feed resentment and call it honesty. There are voices that make bitterness sound powerful, compromise sound loving, and distance from me sound like freedom. My beloved child, do not let smooth words plant crooked roots inside you. Remember Rehoboam, the young king who rejected the counsel of the elders and listened instead to voices that fed his pride. The advice he chose sounded strong, but it divided what had been entrusted to him. That story is a warning. A voice can make you feel powerful for a moment and still lead you into loss. The counsel that comes from me may humble you, but it will not destroy you. It may correct you, but it will lead you toward life. The wisdom from above is pure, peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruit, as James teaches. So look for the fruit, my beloved child. Do not only listen to the tone, do not only watch the smile, do not only receive the words that make your emotions feel understood. Look at what grows after the voice is spoken. More peace or more unrest, more faith or more fear, more love or more control, more clarity or more confusion. I also want you to discern the voices inside you. Not every thought that rises within you is truth. Some thoughts are old pain speaking with your own voice. Some are fear repeating what disappointment taught you. Some are shame, trying to sound like humility. Some are loneliness trying to make a dangerous door look like comfort. Bring even your inner voices to me. Let my word divide what is true from what is merely familiar. My beloved child, there will be times when I ask you to step back from an influence without hatred. Distance does not always mean bitterness. Sometimes distance is obedience. Sometimes love must become quieter so your soul can heal. Sometimes you must stop drinking from a stream that keeps making you thirsty. Do not feel guilty for protecting the place where my spirit is teaching you to live again. But hear me carefully. Discernment is not permission to become hard. I am not teaching you to walk through life accusing everyone. I am teaching you to walk with clean eyes and a listening spirit. You can love people and still test what they bring near your heart. You can honor someone and still refuse to let their fear become your direction. You can forgive and still recognize that a certain door must remain closed until I tell you otherwise. When you do not know what to trust, come to me before you react. Do not decide only from emotion. Do not stay only from fear of loneliness. Do not leave only from anger. Bring the voice, the relationship, the advice, the invitation, the message, the memory into my light. I see motives you cannot see. I understand patterns you may overlook. I know which connections need healing, which need boundaries, and which must be released. My beloved child, you are not alone in learning this. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye upon you. You do not have to guess in panic. You do not have to become afraid of every person. Keep your ear close to my voice, and little by little, you will recognize the difference between what draws you toward life and what quietly drains it. Do not be ashamed if this takes practice. A trained ear is formed through nearness, not pressure. Each time you pause before receiving a voice, each time you ask me for light, your spirit becomes more sensitive to what carries my peace and what does not within you. As you learn to discern the voices around you, I will also show you that not every gentle voice deserves your trust. Some closeness must be examined with holy wisdom. Some affection must be brought into my light. In the next place, I will teach you how to guard the intimate spaces of your soul. So what sounds tender does not secretly take strength from what I have placed within you. My beloved child, as you learn to discern the voices around you, I want to bring your attention to the voices that feel closest, warmest, and easiest to trust. The dangerous thing is not always loud. It is not always obvious. Sometimes what weakens your spirit comes wrapped in softness, concern, affection, and familiar words. Not every gentle voice deserves your heart. Not every tender tone carries truth. Not every person who knows how to calm your emotions should be allowed to guide your soul. I am not teaching you to fear love. I created your heart with the ability to receive love, give love, and find comfort in holy companionship. I know the ache of loneliness. I know how deeply you long for someone who understands without needing a long explanation. I do not mock that longing. I placed within you the need for fellowship. But my beloved child, longing must be led by wisdom, or it will open doors your peace was never meant to walk through. Some voices enter slowly. They do not ask for everything at once. They ask for a little agreement, a little compromise, a little silence where you should have spoken truth. They tell you that your convictions are too serious. They tell you that your boundaries are unnecessary. They make you feel difficult for protecting what is sacred. Then, little by little, your prayer becomes quieter, your peace becomes thinner, and your confidence in my voice becomes less clear. This is why I tell you to guard your heart, for from it flow the springs of life. Your heart is not a public room where every passing voice may sit down and rearrange the furniture. It is a sacred place. It is the place where faith is nurtured, where hope is guarded, where love is purified, where my spirit speaks in stillness. What enters there will shape what grows there. My beloved child, remember Samson. His strength was not only in what others saw. His strength was tied to consecration, to something set apart before me. He could defeat enemies in open places, yet he became careless in a private place. Delilah did not meet him with a sword raised in battle. She came close through repeated words, emotional pressure, and the kind of closeness that made him lower his guard. He heard her voice again and again until what should have been guarded became exposed. Do not hear this story as a command to distrust every person who comes near. Hear it as wisdom. Your strength must be guarded most carefully in the places where your heart feels most comfortable. Visible enemies are easier to recognize than gentle influences that ask you to surrender slowly. Samson woke and did not know that his strength had left him. My beloved child, I do not want you to wake one day and wonder when your peace departed, when your conviction faded, when your inner light became dim. There are people who may love you, in part, yet still not lead you toward life. There are relationships that satisfy an emotion but drain the spirit. There are friendships that make you feel accepted, while quietly making obedience feel foolish. There are conversations that comfort your wound but keep you from healing. A voice can sound like shelter and still become a cage if it pulls you away from me. Ask what fruit is left after the closeness. Do you feel more honest before me, or more tempted to hide? Do you feel free to pray, or strangely reluctant? Do you feel strengthened in truth, or do you feel pressed to become someone smaller, quieter, dimmer? True love will not demand that you abandon the light to keep the relationship. True companionship will not make you choose between affection and obedience. My beloved child, I will sometimes show you that a connection needs boundaries, not because I desire to take joy from you, but because I desire to protect the source of joy within you. A boundary is not hatred. It is a gate with wisdom. It says this far and no farther. It says I can care about you without giving you the authority to lead my heart away from God. It says I will not confuse access with love. You have sometimes stayed near certain voices because you feared being alone. You told yourself that heaviness was normal. You said every relationship has difficulty, so perhaps the loss of peace was only your weakness. But my beloved child, there is a difference between a relationship that stretches you toward growth and one that steadily pulls you from life. Growth may challenge you, but it will draw you closer to truth. Confusion drains you and leaves you farther from my presence. Bring the close voices to me. Bring the message that stirred uneasiness. Bring the affection that feels sweet yet costly. Bring the friendship that leaves your spirit tired. Bring the advice that sounds wise but makes faith feel childish. I am not asking you to react in anger. I am asking you to pause in my light. Let me show you what is pure, what is wounded, what can be healed, and what must be released. There are people I may ask you to love from a distance. There are words I may teach you to hear without letting them settle inside you. There are invitations I may ask you to decline, even when your emotions want to say yes. This is not punishment, it is protection. I remove what steals peace so your heart can breathe. I close certain doors so your soul does not keep bleeding through them. My beloved child, do not be ashamed of needing my help with this. the heart can become attached to what weakens it. Familiar pain can feel safer than holy freedom. A voice that once comforted you may later become a chain. That is why you must not decide only by emotion. Let my word be the lamp. Let my spirit be the witness. Let peace rule, not panic, loneliness, or fear of losing approval. I will not rush your release, and I will not shame your attachment. I will walk with you until your heart learns to choose peace over the fear of being alone. I will make you wise without making you cold. I will make you tender without leaving you unguarded. I will teach you to recognize love that carries light and closeness that carries shadow. You do not need to throw your heart away to prove you are loving. You do not need to remain where your spirit keeps shrinking. I will show you the difference between holy connection and emotional captivity. As you let me guard the intimate spaces of your soul, I will prepare you for deeper restoration. Because once the voices are tested, once the doors are watched, once your heart begins to choose light over familiar closeness, I can heal the root more freely. The next work will go deeper than boundaries. It will reach the places where fear first entered, where shame first settled, and where I am ready to restore you from the root. My beloved child, now that the voices have been tested and the doors of your heart are being watched with wisdom, I want to take you deeper. Boundaries protect the garden, but restoration must reach the soil. It is possible to close a harmful door and still carry the wound that made that door so painful. It is possible to step away from what drained you and still feel the old ache moving beneath the surface. So today, do not only ask me to change what surrounds you, let me restore what is rooted within you. I am not satisfied with surface peace, my beloved child. I do not come only to quiet your tears for one evening. I do not come only to help you look strong in front of people. I do not come only to make the day easier, while the hidden place inside you remains untouched. I come to the root because what remains unhealed at the root will keep shaping the branches of your thoughts, choices, fears, and relationships. You have tried to manage the fruit for so long. You tried to stop overthinking. You tried to stop expecting rejection. You tried to stop pulling away when someone came close. You tried to stop feeling small when certain memories returned. But fruit cannot be healed by touching the leaves alone. If the root is still wrapped in fear, fear will rise again. If shame is still buried deep, shame will speak again. If grief has never been brought into my light, it will keep coloring the way you see tomorrow. My beloved child, I know where the root began. I know the first sentence that made you question your worth. I know the first loss that taught you to expect abandonment. I know the first disappointment that made you decide hope was dangerous. I know the moment when your heart began to protect itself by becoming quieter, harder, smaller, or more distant. You may have forgotten the beginning, but I have not. And what I remember, I can redeem. Do not fear the depth of my healing. I do not dig into your soul like one who wants to expose you. I work like the faithful farmer who knows that new life cannot grow well in soil tangled with thorns. I remove slowly. I loosen gently. I separate what belongs to life from what has been choking it. There may be moments when you feel tender, but tenderness is not destruction. It is often the sign that my hand has reached what was buried. My word says that I am doing a new thing, that it springs forth even in the wilderness. My beloved child, a new thing is not only a changed circumstance, it is a changed inner ground. It is the place in you where fear used to speak, now learning to hear my peace. It is the place where shame used to sit, now receiving my mercy. It is the place where hopelessness used to harden, now softening under the quiet rain of grace. Remember the potter and the clay spoken through Jeremiah. The clay was in the potter's hand, and when the vessel was marred, the potter did not throw it away as useless. He worked it again into another vessel as seemed good to him. My beloved child, this is how I hold you. I do not reject you because something has been distorted by pain. I do not discard you because life pressed against you and left marks. I keep you in my hands, and I reshape what surrender places before me. You may think restoration means becoming who you were before the wound, but I tell you something deeper. I am not merely returning you to an earlier version of yourself. I am forming you into someone rooted more deeply in me than before. Softer, but not fragile. Wiser, but not suspicious. Stronger, but not cold. More compassionate, but not controlled by the pain of others. More peaceful, because the root of your peace will no longer depend on people behaving perfectly. This work may feel slow. Do not despise slow healing. Roots grow in hidden places, and hidden growth is still growth. You may not always feel different immediately. You may still notice old reactions rising. You may still feel fear knock at familiar doors. But when you bring those reactions to me instead of obeying them, restoration is already happening. When you pause and say, "Father, this fear is old, but I choose your truth," the root is being touched. My beloved child, I want to restore your trust. Not a blind trust that ignores wisdom, but a holy trust that begins with me. I want to restore your joy, not shallow excitement, but deep gladness that can breathe even while life is still imperfect. I want to restore your identity, not the version shaped by rejection, failure, or comparison, but the truth that you are. Mine, known by me, loved by me, and held by me. Bring me the root of anger. Bring me the root of fear. Bring me the root of control. Bring me the root of needing approval. Bring me the root of expecting loss. Do not bring me only the branches you are embarrassed by. Bring me the underground places. I am not afraid to enter them. My light does not become less holy when it touches dark soil. My light makes hidden things ready for life. There are promises I planted in you that pain tried to bury. There are gifts within you that weariness tried to silence. There are prayers that disappointment pushed into the back room of your heart. I have not forgotten them. I can call them forward again. The seed that seemed lost was never lost to me. The dream that seemed dead may need purification, but it is not beyond my breath. Do not rush to measure this work by what others can see. Much of my restoration begins where applause cannot reach. A deeper calm, a cleaner desire, a gentler response, a quieter courage. These are signs that roots are drinking again. Heaven notices the hidden repair before the world ever sees the harvest in your life today. So let me work deeply, my beloved child. Let me restore from the root, not merely from the appearance. Let me heal the place where you first believed you were alone. Let me touch the memory that still tightens your chest. Let me speak over the lie that has been repeating itself under your thoughts. You do not have to fight this hidden battle without me. I am with you in the unseen place. As I restore you from the root, I will also ask for your humility. Some healing comes when you allow me to lead you in ways you would not have chosen. Some freedom begins with obedience that feels simple, even small. In the next movement, I will show you that healing is not only receiving comfort. Sometimes it is stepping into my instruction with a surrendered heart, trusting that my way can cleanse what pride, fear, and human strength could never heal. My beloved child, as I restore what is hidden at the root, I invite you into a quieter kind of courage. Healing requires humility, not the humiliation that makes you shrink, but the holy humility that lets you stop arguing with my way. Some wounds remain longer than they should because the heart keeps asking me to heal it while demanding that healing arrive according to its own plan and timing. I know why you want control, my beloved child. Control can feel like safety after pain has made life seem unpredictable. You want to know how I will restore you before you surrender. You want to see the outcome before you obey. You want the road to make sense before you step onto it. But many times healing begins when you are willing to follow me before your mind has finished making peace with the process. There are places in you that cannot be healed by pride. Pride says I must understand everything first. Pride says I will only receive help if it comes in a form that protects my image. Pride says I am fine even while the soul is quietly breaking. Humility says, Father, I do not know how to heal this. Humility says I have tried my own strength and I am tired. Humility says, lead me, even if your instruction feels smaller than what I expected. Remember Naaman, the commander, respected by many, strong in the eyes of people, honored by kings, yet carrying a sickness beneath his garments. From a distance he looked powerful. Up close there was a hidden place human honor could not cure. When he came seeking healing, he expected something grand, something worthy of his position, something dramatic enough to match the importance he had carried for so long. But the instruction he received was simple. Go wash in the Jordan. At first his pride resisted. He wanted the prophet to come out, wave his hand, call upon my name in a visible way, and make healing look impressive. He almost walked away from the mercy he had requested because the path to healing offended his expectations. My beloved child, do not miss this. Sometimes the medicine I send feels too simple for the wound you carry. You may ask me for restoration, and I may begin by asking you to forgive what you keep rehearsing. You may ask me for peace, and I may ask you to turn off the voices that feed your anxiety. You may ask me for clarity, and I may ask you to sit quietly before my word instead of chasing endless opinions. You may ask me for freedom, and I may ask you to stop returning to the place that keeps reopening the cut. These instructions may not feel grand. They may not look powerful to others, but obedience is often the river where healing begins. When Naaman humbled himself and washed his skin was restored. The water was not magic. The act was not impressive. The power was mine meeting him where pride finally bowed. My beloved child, the same is true for you. I am not asking for a performance. I am asking for surrender. Do not despise small acts of obedience. One honest prayer can open a door pride kept closed. One apology can loosen a knot in the spirit. One boundary can protect peace that has been bleeding away. One quiet morning with me can begin to reorder thoughts that anxiety has scattered. One decision to stop pretending can invite truth into a room where shame has lived too long. My beloved child, humility does not mean calling yourself worthless. It means admitting that my wisdom is higher than your fear. It means letting me teach you without needing to defend every old pattern. It means allowing correction without assuming rejection. It means receiving help without believing you have failed. I correct because I love. I guide because I see farther. I ask you to release because I know what is poisoning the root. There may be a place I ask you to revisit in prayer, not to trap you in the past, but to redeem what still speaks from there. There may be a relationship I ask you to place before me, honestly, not to stir anger, but to reveal what must be healed, limited, or released. There may be a habit I ask you to lay down, not because I want to take comfort from you, but because false comfort has been stealing your strength. I know some of my instructions will touch your pride, because they will ask you to stop pretending you were never hurt. They may ask you to admit that you need rest. They may ask you to receive care from someone I send. They may ask you to stop proving that you can survive without help. My beloved child, survival without surrender can become bondage. You were not created to be impressive in pain. You were created to be whole in my presence. When my son washed the feet of his disciples, Peter first resisted. He did not understand that love was coming low to cleanse him. He thought humility was beneath the honor of his teacher. But my son showed that true power is not afraid to kneel, and true discipleship is not afraid to receive cleansing. Learn from this. Sometimes humility means letting me serve the place in you that you would rather hide. You may feel unworthy to be touched by grace. You may think you should have been stronger by now. You may think you have delayed too long, wandered too far, resisted too often. But humility is not you beating yourself with regret. Humility is you opening your hands and saying, Father, I cannot heal myself, but I will stop refusing your love. That is enough for me to begin. So come down from the high place where pain taught you to stand alone. Step out of the armor of appearing fine. Enter the simple river of obedience. Wash where I tell you to wash. Release what I tell you to release. Wait where I tell you to wait. Speak truth where I tell you to speak. Be silent where I tell you to rest. My way may seem quiet, but my quiet way carries power. My beloved child, I will not embarrass you. I will not parade your wounds. I will deal with you as a father deals with a beloved child, firmly when needed, gently, always through every hidden layer. Trust me enough to be led. Trust me enough to obey. Trust me enough to believe what looks simple in your eyes can become holy in my hands. And as humility opens the way, you will begin to discover something deeper than instruction. You will discover my love beneath it. You will see that I did not ask you to bow so I could make you small, but so I could lift what shame had bent. In the next place I will speak to that shame, and you will learn that my love is stronger than every failure and hidden place you feared made you unworthy. My beloved child, after humility has opened your hands, I want to speak to the place that tries to hide from me. Shame often stands behind the door after pride steps aside. It whispers that if I truly saw everything, I would pull away. It tells you that grace is for others, not for the places in you that still feel unfinished, stained, or to name. But hear me. My love is stronger than your shame. I have never loved only the version of you that looks composed. I have never drawn near only when your prayers sound confident and your choices look clean. I knew you before you learned to cover yourself. I saw the moments you were proud of, and I saw the moments you wish could be erased. None of them surprised me. None of them made me stop calling you mine. My beloved child, shame does not simply say you did something wrong. Shame says you are wrong. Shame tries to turn an event into an identity, a failure into a name, a season into a sentence. It makes you lower your eyes when I am inviting you to lift them. It makes you hide in silence when I am calling you into mercy. It convinces you that distance from me is safer than honesty with me. But I did not send my son so shame could have the final word over you. Scripture says there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Do not pass quickly over that truth. No condemnation means I am not standing before you with an accusation ready. No condemnation means the cross has spoken louder than the voice that tells you to stay away. No condemnation means shame may knock, but it no longer owns the house. Remember the son who left his father and wasted what he had received. He rehearsed a speech on the way home, expecting rejection, expecting perhaps a place among servants, expecting to be tolerated. But while he was still far off, the father saw him, ran toward him, embraced him, and covered him with dignity. My beloved child, that story is not only about a son returning, it is about the heart of a father watching the road. Do you see me there? I am not waiting with folded arms to shame you for the dust on your feet. I am not standing at the gate to count every mistake before letting you enter. I run toward the returning heart. I cover what shame wanted to expose. I restore what failure tried to rename. I do not bring you home so you can sit forever in the corner of regret. I bring you home because you belong near me. You may say, but Father, you know what I have thought, you know what I have done. You know the doors I opened, the words I spoke, the compromises I made, the years I wasted, the moments I ignored your voice. Yes, my beloved child, I know. I know completely, and still I call you closer. My knowledge of you is deeper than your confession, and my mercy is deeper than what you fear to confess. Do not confuse conviction with shame. Conviction is my spirit leading you back to life. Shame is darkness trying to drive you away from me. Conviction says, come into the light and be healed. Shame says, hide because you are beyond repair. Conviction may bring tears, but those tears wash the soul. Shame brings heaviness that keeps the soul bowed under a false identity. Learn the difference, and let my voice be clearer than the voice of accusation. My beloved child, I also know the shame that was placed on you by others. Not every burden you carry began with your own choices. Some of it came from words spoken over you. Some came from rejection you did not deserve. Some came from being blamed, ignored, used, or misunderstood. People may have made you feel small, dirty, foolish, or unwanted, but their treatment of you is not the measure of your worth. My love is. Let me enter those memories gently. I will not tear them open to make you relive them. I will touch them with truth. I will separate what happened to you from who you are in me. I will remove the label shame pressed onto your soul. I will teach you to say that was painful, but it is not my name. That season hurt me, but it does not define me. Those words wounded me, but they do not outrank the word of my Father. Think of Peter, who denied my son after declaring that he would never fall away. He heard the rooster crow and grief struck him deeply. Yet after the resurrection, my son did not leave Peter locked inside his failure. He met him by the shore, spoke to him with purpose, and entrusted him again with love. My beloved child, failure did not erase calling. Shame did not cancel grace. A broken moment did not become the end of the story. This is what I am doing in you. I am meeting you on the shore of places where you thought your story was over. I am not asking, how could you fail me? I am asking, do you love me? I am calling you back into relationship because relationship heals what shame isolates. You do not need to punish yourself to prove you are sorry. Surrender is enough. Return is enough. Letting me restore you is part of your obedience. There are parts of you that still flinch when love comes near. You expect correction to become rejection. You expect truth to become humiliation. You expect holiness to mean distance. But my holiness is not cold. My holiness burns away what destroys you and preserves what I created. My love is not weak. It does not pretend darkness is light, but my love does not abandon you in the dark. It enters, lifts, cleanses, and leads you out. So bring me the shame you have hidden beneath strength. Bring me the memory you avoid. Bring me the name you secretly call yourself. Bring me the place where you think grace runs out. I will not run out. I will not turn away. My love does not break when truth appears. My love is everlasting. My mercy is new every morning. My arms are still open. My beloved child, let shame lose its authority today. Let my voice become the one that names you. You are not abandoned. You are not beyond repair. You are not the worst thing that happened. You are mine, and I am restoring your dignity. As my love lifts shame, a softer light will begin to enter your soul. You will notice I do not always arrive with thunder. Sometimes I come gently, like morning touching a closed window, until the room inside you remembers warmth. In the next place, I will show you how my light comes softly, how I reach what is bruised without breaking it, and how I keep alive the small flame you thought had almost gone out. My beloved child, as shame begins to loosen its grip, do not expect my light to enter your soul like a force that frightens you. I know how tender you are in the places that have only recently opened. I know how easily a wounded heart can mistake brightness for exposure and truth for danger. So I come gently. I come with light that heals before it reveals. I come with warmth that invites you to breathe, not with a glare that makes you hide. My light often arrives more softly than you expect. You may look for thunder signs that shake the room, a sudden feeling strong enough to remove every doubt. Yet many times I reach you through quiet mercies, a calm thought in the middle of anxiety, a line from my word that suddenly feels alive, a tear that falls without pulling you into despair, a morning that does not feel as heavy as the one before it. My beloved child, do not despise the small ways I visit you. The world trains you to notice only what is loud, fast, impressive, and impossible to ignore. But my presence is not always loud. My love does not need to shout to be real. I can enter the deepest room of your heart through a whisper. I can touch a place you thought was unreachable through one moment of peace that no one else sees. The prophet Isaiah spoke of my servant, saying that a bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not put out. Hear that. I do not break what is already bruised. I do not extinguish what is barely burning. When your faith feels like a small ember beneath ashes, I do not call it worthless. I guard it. I breathe upon it. I cover it from the wind until it can burn again. You may have thought that because your fire became small, I was disappointed in you. You may have thought that because your prayers became shorter, your faith had failed. You may have thought that because joy did not rise quickly, I had moved away. But my beloved child, I know the difference between rebellion and exhaustion. I know the difference between a heart that has turned from me and a heart that is simply tired from walking through long nights. I have been near in those long nights. When everyone else slept and your thoughts would not settle, I was near. When you sat in silence and felt as if no one could understand the weight inside you, I was near. When you opened scripture and could barely hold attention, I was still speaking beneath the weakness. When your only prayer was a sigh, I did not reject it. I received it as the honest language of a weary child. My light does not come to shame the dust in the room. It comes to show you where I am ready to clean with tenderness. It does not uncover the wound to embarrass you. It uncovers it so healing can begin. It does not show you your weakness so you can hate yourself. It shows you where my strength is ready to rest upon you. Do not fear the light that comes from my heart. It is holy, but it is not cruel. Think of the disciples on the road after the resurrection. They walked with heavy hearts, speaking of disappointment, trying to understand what had happened. My son came near, but they did not recognize him at first. He walked with them. He listened. He opened the scriptures along the road. Later they realized their hearts had been burning within them. My beloved child, this is how I often come. I walk beside you before you even know it is me. You may not recognize me immediately in your present season. You may think it is only a small comfort, only a quiet thought, only a gentle pull to pray, only a sudden desire to live a little more honestly. But later you will look back and say, my Father was there. His light was walking with me before I had language for it. His hand was guiding me before my eyes knew how to see. So be patient with the soft beginning. Do not demand that healing arrive like lightning when I am sending it like dawn. Dawn does not argue with the darkness. It simply returns quietly, faithfully, until the sky changes. In the same way, I am returning light to the places within you that felt covered. I am not rushing the process because I am not only trying to change your mood. I am teaching your soul to trust warmth again. My beloved child, there are parts of you that have lived in dimness so long that light may feel unfamiliar at first. Peace may feel strange. Rest may feel uncomfortable. Love may feel undeserved. Hope may feel risky. That is why I come softly. I let your heart adjust to mercy. I let your mind learn that not every truth will wound. I let your spirit discover that being seen by me is not the same as being condemned. Let the light touch your hidden corners. Let it rest on the memory you avoid. Let it warm the place where disappointment froze your expectations. Let it shine on the lie that says nothing will ever change. Do not rush to cover those places again. Stay with me there. I am not exposing them to leave them uncovered. I am bringing my presence into what has been lonely too long. Sometimes my light will come through worship when one phrase reaches deeper than you planned. Sometimes it will come through quiet obedience when you choose peace instead of returning to the old argument. Sometimes it will come through a simple act of receiving kindness without suspicion. Sometimes it will come when you step outside, breathe, and notice that the world still carries signs of my faithfulness. My beloved child, I am pouring fresh oil into the lamp within you. Not in a dramatic way that makes you depend on a feeling, but in a steady way that teaches you to remain. A little peace today, a little courage tomorrow, a little clearer vision after that. The flame I placed in you has not been forgotten. It may have flickered, but it still belongs to me. So do not leave this quiet place too quickly. Let my soft light finish what it has begun. Let it calm your shame, warm your grief, and teach your heart that my nearness is safe. The night has been long, but it has not been stronger than my mercy. The darkness has spoken loudly, but it has not owned you. And as my light continues to rise within you, you will begin to understand something even deeper. I was not only shining near you, I was seeing you. In the next place, I will speak to the part of you that wondered whether anyone truly noticed your hidden story, and you will know that I am the God who sees you completely and still draws near. My beloved child, as my light rises softly within you, I want you to understand why that light feels safe. It is not the light of a stranger searching for faults. It is the light of the one who sees you and still draws near. I have watched over the rooms of your life that no person fully entered. I have known the parts of your story you could not explain, the grief you tried to shorten, the questions you carried quietly, and the hope that kept flickering even when you thought it had almost gone out. My beloved child, I see you. Not the version people quickly interpret, not the version shaped by their opinions, their impatience, or their limited understanding. I see the whole road. I see the hidden turns, the silent losses, the moments when you chose kindness while your own heart was aching. I see what it cost you to keep going. I see what others called normal, but what weighed heavily upon your soul. Nothing about you is invisible to me. There were times when you felt overlooked in a crowded room. People heard your words, but not the ache beneath them. They saw your smile, but not the effort behind it. They noticed what you accomplished, but not the strength it took to rise that day. They assumed you were fine because you learned how to be steady. My beloved child, I never confused your composure with ease. I saw the trembling hidden beneath the surface. The psalmist declared that I search and know my children, that I understand their sitting down and rising up. This is not distant observation. This is holy nearness. I know the path your thoughts take before they become words. I know when a memory touches you suddenly and changes the weight of your breathing. I know the names, places, and seasons that still stir something tender inside you. I know you beyond what you know how to say. You may wonder why being seen can feel frightening. It is because people have sometimes looked at you without mercy. Some looked only to judge. Some looked only to use what they found. Some looked at your weakness and made you feel smaller. So you learned to cover yourself, to manage impressions, to reveal only what seemed acceptable. But my gaze is not like theirs. I do not look to shame you. I look to restore you. Remember Hagar in the wilderness. She had been pushed into a lonely place, carrying fear, uncertainty, and the pain of feeling unwanted. The desert around her looked empty, yet she was not unseen there. I met her in the place where she thought no one cared enough to notice. I spoke to her future. I gave direction for her next steps, and she called me the God who sees. My beloved child, I am still that God. I see you in your wilderness too. I see you when the path feels dry and the people who should have understood you are far away. I see you when your strength feels low and your heart is tired of explaining itself. I see you when you sit with unanswered questions, wondering if your life has moved outside the attention of heaven. It has not. Even in the barren place, my eyes are upon you with mercy. But I do not only see what hurts, I also see what remains alive. I see the courage you dismiss because it feels small to you. I see the faith that still turns toward me, even when it has no grand words. I see the tenderness you tried to hide because the world made it feel unsafe. I see the seed of joy buried beneath the weight. I see gifts in you that grief has not destroyed. My beloved child, let being seen by me become comfort, not fear. You do not have to perform for my attention. You already have it. You do not have to make your pain dramatic for me to care. I care because you are mine. You do not have to prove that your wound is serious enough. I know its depth. You do not have to compare your struggle with another person's struggle. I hold each child with perfect knowledge. There is a place in you that is asked, does anyone really know what this has been like? I answer you now. I know. I know the tired prayers. I know the delayed tears. I know the moments when you encouraged others while secretly needing encouragement yourself. I know the sacrifices no one thanked you for. I know the silent obedience that did not receive applause. I know the love you gave when your own heart felt empty. Do not think those hidden things were wasted. What was done in secret before me is not forgotten. The cup of mercy you offered, the restraint you chose, the forgiveness you fought toward, the honesty you whispered in prayer, the small act of faith when doubt was loud, all of it has been seen. Heaven has not overlooked what people missed. I am a faithful Father. I remember with love. You have believed at times that hidden seasons were empty seasons. But hidden does not mean absent from my purpose. A seed is hidden before it breaks the ground. A child is hidden in the womb before breath fills the lungs. Oil is hidden in the vessel before the lamp shines. I often do my deepest work where no crowd is watching. So do not despise the quiet place. Do not call it abandonment because it lacks noise. I am shaping patience there. I am strengthening roots there. I am teaching your soul that my attention is enough, even before people understand what I am doing within you, with tenderness, wisdom, and faithful covenant love. My beloved child, my seeing also brings protection. When you cannot read every motive I see, when you cannot understand why a door closed, I see. When you cannot tell whether a delay is loss or mercy, I see. When you feel exposed before life, I cover you. When you feel forgotten by people, I call you by name. When you feel hidden in a season no one celebrates, I am working where human eyes cannot reach. So rest under my gaze. Let it wash away the fear of being misunderstood. Let it heal the ache of being overlooked. Let it remind you that your worth was never waiting for human recognition. You are known by me. You are held by me. You are not a nameless soul wandering through hard days. You are my beloved child, and your story has never slipped from my hands. And as you learn that I see you with mercy, I will begin to heal how you see everything else. The eyes that have felt unseen can start looking at life differently. The heart that has been known by love can begin to recognize grace again. In the next movement, I will touch the vision within you, not only what your eyes behold, but how your soul understands the world, your future, and yourself. My beloved child, now that you are beginning to understand that I see you, let me touch something deeper. I do not only see your story, I also see the way your story has changed your sight. Pain can place a film over the eyes of the soul. Disappointment can teach you to expect loss before hope even speaks. Fear can make every closed door look like rejection, every delay look like abandonment, and every quiet season look like proof that nothing is changing. My beloved child, let me heal the way you see. Not only what you see with your natural eyes, but how your heart interprets what is before you. You can look at a blessing and still fear it will disappear. You can look at a person who is kind and still expect betrayal. This is not because you are broken beyond repair. It is because your vision has been wounded. The eyes of your soul were never meant to be ruled by old pain. They were created to recognize my faithfulness, to notice mercy, to see truth beneath noise, to look at yourself through the love of your Father. But when wounds remain unhealed, they can become lenses. Through them you may see yourself as too late, too damaged, too difficult to love, too far behind. Through them you may see life as a place to survive instead of a place where my grace can still bloom. I want to wash those lenses, my beloved child. I want to remove the dust of fear, the smoke of confusion, and the fingerprints of people who mishandled your heart. I want to teach you to see again without denying what happened, but without letting what happened become the ruler of your vision. Faith is not pretending the storm is not real. Faith is seeing that I am still Lord over the water. Paul prayed that the eyes of the heart would be enlightened, so my children could know the hope of my calling. That is my desire for you. I do not want you to walk through life with eyes open and hope asleep. I do not want you to see only obstacles while my hand is preparing pathways. I do not want you to read every hard moment as punishment, when some hard moments are places where I am strengthening your roots. Remember Mary at the tomb. She stood near the place of grief, weeping because she thought my son had been taken away. Her eyes saw a gardener, but her heart had not yet recognized the risen Lord standing near. Grief had covered her sight. Sorrow had told her the story was finished. But then he spoke her name and everything changed. My beloved child, sometimes you do not need a new place first. You need to hear my voice where grief made you blind. I am speaking your name too, not with accusation but with tenderness. I am calling you out of the vision that says the story is over. I am calling you beyond the thought that the empty place is all there is. I am calling you to lift your eyes and recognize that I may be nearer than your sorrow allowed you to perceive. What you thought was the end may be the doorway where resurrection begins. My beloved child, there are moments when your eyes have been trained by comparison. You look at the lives of others and feel as if you are behind. You look at their open doors and forget that I guide each child differently. You look at their harvest and despise your hidden roots. But I am not measuring you by another person's season. Your path is not late because it does not look like theirs. Your life is not empty because the fruit is still forming underground. Let me heal how you see yourself. You are not the name failure gave you. You are not the wound that marked you. You are not the delay that frustrated you. You are not the rejection that tried to shrink you. You are my beloved child, known before people knew how to misunderstand you, called before fear, taught you to hide, held before shame, told you to step away. When you see yourself through, my love dignity returns. Let me heal how you see people. I do not ask you to become naive. I do not ask you to ignore patterns, excuse harm, or reopen doors I have closed. But I do ask you to stop letting bitterness become your eyesight. Mercy, guided by wisdom, lets you see clearly without losing tenderness. You can discern without hating. You can protect peace without becoming cold. Let me heal how you see the future. You have imagined so many losses that never came, carried so many fears that never became real, rehearsed so many endings before I had finished writing. My beloved child, tomorrow is not held by your anxiety. It is held by me. You do not need to stare into the unknown until your soul grows dizzy. Walk with me today. I will give light for the step before you. There are things you cannot see yet because your heart is still learning to trust light again. Be patient. When eyes have lived in dim places, sudden brightness can feel uncomfortable. I will not force clarity before your soul can receive it. I will guide you slowly, faithfully, gently, one truth at a time, one fear released at a time, one new way of looking at life at a time. Bring me the way you see the wound. Bring me the way you see the person who left. Bring me the way you see your unanswered prayer. Bring me the way you see your body, your calling, your age, your past, your future. Bring me the picture in your mind that keeps making you afraid. I will not laugh at it. I will not shame you. I will place my truth beside it until the lie loses strength. My beloved child, in my light, you will see light. Not because everything around you becomes easy, but because your inner lamp begins to burn with truth again. You will start noticing grace where you once noticed only threat. You will see small beginnings where you once saw emptiness. You will see correction as love, waiting as preparation, and weakness as a place where my strength can rest. So let me touch your vision today. Let my hand rest over the eyes of your soul. Let my word become clearer than the voice of fear. Let my presence teach you to look at life without the old fog. I am not only restoring your heart, I am restoring the window through which your heart sees the world. And when your sight begins to clear, I will teach you to guard what enters through your eyes. For vision can be healed, but it must also be protected. In the next place, I will speak about your eyes as a sacred gate, and how what you keep looking at can either feed the light within you or dim the peace I am restoring. My beloved child, as I begin to heal the way you see, I also want to teach you how to guard what enters your sight. Vision that has been restored must be protected. A window that has been cleaned should not be left open to every storm. The eyes of your soul are tender places, and what you continue to look upon will slowly teach your heart how to feel, what to desire, what to fear, and where to place its trust. My beloved child, your eyes are not only receivers of images, they are gateways. What enters through them does not always remain outside you. A picture can become a thought can become a desire can become a path can become a habit. This is why my son said that the eye is the lamp of the body. When the eye is clear, the whole body is filled with light. When the eye is clouded, darkness begins to spread quietly. I do not say this to make you afraid of the world. I say it because I love the light I placed within you. I created your eyes to recognize beauty, mercy, truth, and wonder. I created them to read my word, to notice the pain of others with compassion, to see traces of grace in ordinary days. I did not create them to be fed constantly by comparison, fear, lust, bitterness, greed, and images that leave the spirit emptier after looking. There are things that seem small when they first pass before your eyes. A quick glance, a harmless curiosity, a moment of entertainment, a look at another life that makes you measure your own, a repeated image that stirs something restless inside you. My beloved child, small does not always mean harmless. A seed is small, yet if it is watered, it becomes a tree. In the same way, what you return to again and again can grow roots within you. You may look at the success of others until your own path feels worthless. You may look at the beauty of others until you begin to despise the body I gave you. You may look at fear-filled news until your soul forgets that I am still sovereign. You may look at what awakens unhealthy desire until peace feels distant and prayer feels difficult. The eye does not only look outward, it teaches the inner life what to follow. Remember David, my beloved child. He was a man after my heart, a worshiper, a warrior, a king who knew my mercy. Yet there came an evening when his eyes rested where they should not have rested. What began as a look became desire, desire became action, action became concealment. Concealment brought sorrow into many lives. This was written not so you would despise David, but so you would understand that even a heart that loves me must stay watchful. Do not say I am too strong to be affected. Do not say this cannot touch me. Humility guards what pride exposes. A person may walk with me for many seasons and still become weak if they stop watching the gates of the soul. My beloved child, I am not asking you to live tense and fearful. I am asking you to live awake. There is a difference. Fear sees traps everywhere. Watchfulness keeps your hand in mine. Ask me to help you turn your eyes away from what drains life. The psalmist prayed, "Turn my eyes from worthless things and give me life in your ways." Let that become your prayer too. Father, teach my eyes to choose light. Teach me when to look away. Teach me when curiosity is becoming a doorway. Teach me when an image is feeding a hunger that does not belong to your peace. My beloved child, guarding your eyes is not only about avoiding impurity. It is also about refusing to stare at what makes you anxious, bitter, jealous, hopeless, or ashamed. Some darkness comes dressed as entertainment. Some darkness comes dressed as information. Some darkness comes dressed as comparison. Some darkness comes dressed as memory. You can keep looking backward at a wound until the past becomes the lens through which you read every present blessing. I want to teach you to look differently. Look toward what gives life. Look toward my word until your thoughts begin to breathe again. Look toward simple mercies you have been rushing past. Look at the sky and remember that the heavens declare my glory. Look at people with mercy but not with blindness. Look at your own life through covenant, not accusation. Look at your future through my faithfulness, not through the predictions of fear. There is freedom in holy turning. When you look away from what poisons peace, you are not losing life. You are protecting life. When you refuse to feed comparison, you are making room for gratitude. When you turn from images that awaken darkness, you are not becoming smaller. You are becoming clearer. Purity is not a cage. Purity is light moving without obstruction through the rooms of your soul. My beloved child, sometimes you will need to make simple choices. Close what keeps pulling you into unrest. Step away from what makes your heart heavy without giving it wisdom. Stop returning to the image, the page, the memory, the account, the conversation, the place that keeps leaving you farther from peace. Do not call it harmless if it keeps dimming your prayer. Do not call it freedom if afterward your soul feels chained. I will help you. I do not command you and leave you alone with your weakness. My Spirit teaches, warns, strengthens, and restores. When peace begins to leave, pause. When your heart becomes restless, pause. When something inside you says, this is not leading me toward life, listen. That quiet warning may be my mercy protecting you before damage grows deeper. Make a covenant with your eyes, not out of fear, but out of love for the flame within you. Say, Father, let my sight belong to you. Let my eyes become servants of light. Let what I look upon make my heart cleaner, steadier, kinder, and more awake to your presence. I will answer that prayer. I will train your vision little by little. This is not a burden too heavy for you, because I will not teach your eyes apart from my love. I will walk with you through each choice, each turning away, each return to peace, until your vision learns to rest where your soul is safe beneath my light every single day. As your eyes become guarded, my beloved child, they will also become opened. You will not only avoid darkness, you will begin to perceive what you once missed. You will see grace around you. You will see protection in places that looked empty. You will see my hand moving beyond what natural sight can understand. In the next movement, I will open the eyes of your soul so you may see that you are surrounded by more mercy, more help, and more heavenly strength than fear has allowed you to believe. My beloved child, now that I am teaching you to guard what enters your eyes, I also want to open what fear has narrowed within you. Guarding your eyes is not only about turning away from darkness, it is also about becoming able to see my light clearly. When the gates of your sight are no longer crowded by comparison, anxiety, and restless images, the eyes of your soul can begin to awaken. My beloved child, there is a kind of sight that the world cannot give you. Natural eyes can see circumstances, bills, closed doors, empty chairs, delayed answers, and the faces of people who do not understand. Natural eyes can see the size of the mountain and the strength of the wind. But the eyes of the soul, when opened by me, can see grace moving underneath protection surrounding what looks exposed and purpose still breathing in places that appear unfinished. This is why I do not want you to live only by what is visible. What is visible can speak loudly, but it does not always speak truthfully. A storm may look final. A delay may look like denial. A lonely season may look like abandonment. A closed path may look like rejection. Yet, my beloved child, your natural sight does not see the whole field. It sees the surface. I see the unseen. I see what I am arranging before you arrive. Remember the servant of Elisha. When he rose early and saw the city surrounded by an enemy army, his eyes told him a terrifying story. Horses, chariots, danger, no way out. Fear interpreted the scene before faith could speak. He cried out because he saw threat. But Elisha was not shaken because he saw beyond the visible pressure. He prayed, Lord, open his eyes that he may see. And when the servant's eyes were opened, he saw the mountain filled with heavenly help. My beloved child, this is the prayer I desire to answer in you. Open the eyes of my soul. Let me see what fear has hidden. Let me see that I am not surrounded only by trouble, but also by mercy. Let me see that I am not standing alone, but held within your care. Let me see that the enemy's noise is not greater than the Father's presence. You have looked at certain situations and thought, I have no help here. You have looked at the future and thought, I do not know how this can become good. You have looked at your weakness and thought, I am too small for what stands against me. But my beloved child, when I open the eyes of your soul, you begin to understand that your weakness is not the final measurement. My presence is. Do not let fear become your prophet. Fear makes predictions without my permission. Fear says the door will never open. Fear says the pain will never change. Fear says the mistake has ruined everything. Fear says you are too late, too alone, too forgotten. But fear sees only shadows and then calls them the future. I call you to look again, not with denial, but with faith that knows I am working where your eyes cannot reach. Faith does not mean pretending there are no armies around the city. Faith means knowing the armies are not the only reality. Faith does not close its eyes to difficulty. Faith asks me to open the deeper sight. It says, "Father, show me what I cannot see on my own. Show me where your hand is moving. Show me how to stand in peace while the visible world looks uncertain. My beloved child, I may not reveal every detail at once. I may not show you the road ahead. If I showed you everything, your heart might become overwhelmed by what is not meant for today. I often give enough light for the step before you. I often open enough vision for obedience, not control. You do not need to see the whole harvest to keep planting. You do not need to understand every turn to keep walking with me. There are places where your sight has been trained by disappointment. When something good begins, you look for how it might fall apart. When kindness comes near, you search for the hidden cost. When a blessing appears, you brace yourself for loss. I understand why, but I want to retrain your vision. I want to teach your soul that not every open door is a trap, not every quiet season is punishment, and not every delay is proof that I have forgotten you. Let me show you the unseen mercies. The accident you never knew I prevented, the wrong connection I closed, the strength I gave when you thought you had none left, the person I moved at the right time, the comfort I sent through a word, a small kindness, a sudden peace. Much of my care has been hidden from your view, yet it has been real. You are still here because my hand has held you more often than you realized. My beloved child, pray for opened eyes when anxiety grows loud. Pray before you react. Pray before you agree with despair. Pray before you call a season empty. Say, "Father, open my eyes. Let me see this through your truth. Let me not be blinded by fear, wounded memory, or human opinion. Let my spirit recognize your nearness before my emotions declare I am alone. As I open your eyes, I will also open your gratitude. You will begin to notice what once escaped you: bread, protection, strength for another hour, a heart that still desires me, a scripture that steadies your thoughts, a person who prays for you, a closed door that kept you from sorrow." Gratitude is often the evidence that spiritual sight is returning. Do not be ashamed if you still feel afraid. The servant saw the army before he saw the heavenly host. His fear did not stop the answer to prayer. Your trembling does not disqualify you from seeing. Bring me your trembling. Bring me the scene that looks impossible. Bring me the facts that frighten you. I will not ask you to deny them. I will ask you to place them beneath the truth of who I am. My beloved child, I am opening the eyes of your soul so you can walk with courage, not fantasy. Courage sees trouble and still remembers heaven. Courage sees weakness and still leans on grace. Courage sees delay and still refuses to call me absent. When you see this way, your peace no longer depends on perfect circumstances. It rests in the one who surrounds you. And as your inner sight begins to open, I will continue the work patiently. Some vision returns in stages. Some clarity comes after my hand touches you again. Do not be discouraged if everything is not clear today. In the next place, I will show you how I give new eyes, how I heal blurred vision step by step, and how I teach you to see life yourself and my promises with a clarity fear could never give. My beloved child, do not be discouraged because everything is not clear at once. I know the ache of wanting instant understanding. You want the fog to lift immediately. You want every question answered, every path opened, every fear explained, every wound translated into purpose. But I often heal vision in layers, not because my power is limited, but because my mercy knows how much light your heart can receive at one time. I will give you new eyes, my beloved child. Not eyes that deny reality, but eyes that no longer bow to fear as the highest truth. Not eyes that ignore pain, but eyes that can see my presence even in the place where pain once ruled. Not eyes that become naive, but eyes that are washed by grace, sharpened by wisdom, softened by mercy, and steadied by my word. You have seen through old lenses for a long time. You have looked through rejection and called it discernment. You have looked through disappointment and called it caution. You have looked through grief and called it realism. You have looked through anxiety and called it preparation. I understand why those lenses felt necessary. They helped you interpret a world that had wounded you. But now, my beloved child, I am asking you to let me remove what once helped you survive but now keeps you from seeing life clearly. Remember the blind man at Bethsaida. My son took him by the hand and led him away from the crowd. He did not heal him for public display. He did not turn his restoration into a spectacle. He led him into a quieter place, touched his eyes, and asked what he saw. The man answered that he saw people, but they looked like trees walking. Light had entered, yet clarity had not fully come. Then my son touched him again, and he saw clearly. Do you understand the tenderness in that, my beloved child? The first touch was not failure. The unfinished clarity was not rejection. The blurred vision was part of the process, and my son stayed with him through it. In the same way, if you are seeing more than before, but not yet seeing clearly, do not condemn yourself. If hope has returned but still feels fragile, do not call it false. If peace has begun but fear still speaks, do not say nothing has changed. I am still touching your eyes. I am still teaching your soul to focus. I am still separating the shapes of fear from the substance of truth. Some things that once looked like threats will begin to look like places where I am training you. Some delays that once looked like rejection will begin to look like preparation. Some endings that once looked like destruction will begin to look like mercy, closing what could not carry your future. My beloved child, I may lead you away from the crowd for this healing. Not because people are evil, but because too many voices can keep vision confused. The crowd has opinions. The crowd rushes conclusions. The crowd names your season before I finish working in it. Sometimes I must take you aside into quiet prayer, into hidden obedience, into stillness with my word, so your eyes can learn my light without being clouded by the noise of others. There are things you used to see wrongly, because pain taught you to expect harm. You saw correction as rejection. You saw silence as abandonment. You saw waiting as punishment. You saw weakness as failure. You saw rest as laziness. You saw boundaries as guilt. You saw tenderness as danger. My beloved child, I am not angry that your vision became distorted. I know what bent it, but I am ready to make it whole. Let me touch how you see your past. It is not a chain if it is surrendered to me. It is not a courtroom where you must stand forever condemned. It is a field where I can grow testimony, compassion, and wisdom. Let me touch how you see your present. It is not empty because it is quiet. It is not meaningless because others cannot applaud it. It may be the workshop where I am forming strength no one has seen yet. Let me touch how you see your future. It is not a dark hallway waiting to swallow you. It is not owned by the worst thing your fear can imagine. Your future is in my hands, and my hands are not careless. You do not need to see every room ahead. You need to trust the one holding the lamp. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path, not always a floodlight over the whole road. My beloved child, new eyes will change the way you look at yourself. You will begin to see dignity where shame showed only damage. You will see growth where impatience saw only delay. You will see courage in the small yes you gave me when everything inside you wanted to quit. You will see that you are not behind my mercy. You are being formed by it. New eyes will also change the way you look at others. You will not be quick to judge, yet you will not be blind to fruit. You will not confuse mercy with permission to be harmed. You will not confuse wisdom with bitterness. You will learn to see people through truth and compassion together. That is my way. Light without love becomes harsh. Love without light becomes confused. I will teach you both. Do not rush this healing. Clear sight is precious. I will train you to pause before believing the first interpretation that rises from fear. I will teach you to ask, Father, what am I seeing through right now? Am I seeing through pain or through your promise? Am I seeing through panic or through your peace? Am I seeing through old wounds or through the Spirit who makes all things new? And when you cannot tell, come back to me. I will not shame you for needing another touch. I touched the blind man's eyes again, and I will touch yours again and again with patience. Each time you return, vision will grow cleaner. Each time you choose truth over fear, the fog will thin. Each time you let my word correct your sight, your soul will breathe. My beloved child, I am giving you new eyes. Eyes that can notice grace in ordinary places. Eyes that can recognize danger without surrendering to fear. Eyes that can look at loss and still believe I redeem. Eyes that can look at a new morning and say, my Father is not finished. Let that sight rise within you. Step by step, the light will become familiar to your soul. And as these new eyes open, you will not only see differently while sitting still, you will begin to walk differently. In the next movement, I will teach you to move through life with eyes reborn in light, seeing yourself, others, and each day as one who belongs to my presence and is guided by my peace. My beloved child, now that I am giving you new eyes, I want you to understand that restored sight is meant to change the way you walk. I do not open the eyes of your soul so you can remain seated in the same fear. I open them so your steps may become steadier, your heart may become clearer, and your life may begin to move in the direction of my light. Walk with eyes reborn in the light. Do not only look differently when you are alone in prayer. Look differently when people misunderstand you. Look differently when the day does not unfold as you hoped. Look differently when memories try to pull you backward. Look differently when the world invites you to judge quickly, compare endlessly, and fear what has not yet happened. New eyes must become a new way of living. My beloved child, when your eyes are reborn, you will no longer see yourself only through the ashes of what has happened. You will see the hand that is rebuilding you. You will no longer look at your scars and believe they are proof of defeat. You will see them as places where mercy has touched pain and refused to let pain have the final word. You will not call yourself ruined when I am calling you restored. Remember Bartimaeus beside the road. He could not see with natural eyes, yet his spirit recognized hope passing near. The crowd told him to be quiet, but his faith cried out louder. When my son called him, he threw aside his cloak, rose, and came near. After his sight was restored, he did not simply admire the world around him. He followed the one who healed him. My beloved child, this is true sight. It does not only behold light, it follows light. I am not restoring your vision so you can return to old paths unchanged. I am restoring your vision so you can walk with me. Some things you once chased will no longer shine the same. Some places you once entered without thought will now feel heavy to your spirit. Some conversations you once entertained will no longer feel clean. Do not grieve this as loss. It is clarity. When your eyes are filled with light, darkness loses some of its attraction. You will also begin to see people differently, not with bitterness and not with blindness. My light will teach you mercy without foolishness. You will see that some people are wounded, but you will not let their wounds become permission to harm you. You will see that some people need compassion, but you will not confuse compassion with surrendering your peace. You will learn to love with a heart that is soft toward me and wise toward the world. My beloved child, eyes reborn in light can recognize both beauty and danger. They can see the image of God in a person while also noticing fruit that needs discernment. They can pray for someone without giving that person authority over the soul. They can forgive without pretending trust has been restored. They can walk away without hatred. This is how light makes you mature. It does not make you hard, it makes you clear. When you walk with new eyes, ordinary moments will begin to carry grace again. A morning will not be only another task to survive. It will become a place where my mercy is new. A quiet room will not feel only empty. It may become a sanctuary. A delay will not always feel like rejection. It may become preparation. A small kindness will not be dismissed as nothing. It may become a reminder that I am still near. My beloved child, the world often teaches you to look for what is missing. My light teaches you to notice what is present. The world teaches you to measure yourself against others. My light teaches you to walk the path I have given you. The world teaches you to see age, status, success, and attention as proof of worth. My light teaches you that worth begins in being mine. Do not be surprised if this new sight makes you slower to react. That is a gift. Once fear may have answered first. Once anger may have spoken quickly. Once insecurity may have read every silence as rejection. But as my light grows within you, you will pause. You will breathe. You will ask, Father, what am I really seeing? You will learn not to let the first emotion become the final truth. This is walking as a child of light. Scripture says that you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord, so walk as children of light. That means your steps, your words, your choices, and your gaze begin to carry the evidence of my presence. You do not need to announce it loudly. Light does not need to argue with darkness to be light. It simply shines because it belongs to its source. My beloved child, when your eyes are reborn, you will see your past differently too. You will still know what hurt, but you will no longer let hurt become the narrator of every chapter. You will see places where I protected you even when you did not understand. You will see lessons that were painful, but not wasted. You will see that the story was not over when you thought it was finished. You will see your present differently. Even if life is not perfect, you will recognize that I am here. You will stop saying nothing is happening simply because everything is quiet. You will understand that roots grow silently, oil fills quietly, and hearts are often restored before circumstances change. You will learn to respect the hidden work. You will see your future differently, not as a threat waiting to unfold, but as ground I will meet you upon. You do not need to stare into tomorrow with fear. You need to walk today with me. The light I give is enough for the step beneath your feet. When tomorrow becomes today, I will still be there. So lift your eyes, my beloved child, and walk. You will not walk perfectly at first, and I will not reject you for stumbling. Each return to the light will strengthen your steps, and each honest pause will remind your heart that my hand remains near, even when you feel weak. Walk with mercy. Walk with discernment. Walk with gratitude. Walk with courage that does not need all answers before it obeys. Walk away from shadows that once called your name. Walk toward what gives life. Walk in the truth that your soul has been seen healed, guarded, and given new sight. And as you walk in this light, I will teach you to keep the lamp within you filled. A clear path still requires oil. A healed vision still needs daily communion. In the next place, I will speak to the lamp of your soul, to the oil that keeps it burning, and to the quiet devotion that must be protected so your light does not fade in the middle of the night. My beloved child, as you walk with eyes reborn in the light, I want you to understand that light must be tended. A clear path is a gift, but a lamp still needs oil. Vision can be restored, but communion must be kept alive. Do not think that yesterday's strength is enough for every tomorrow. Do not think that one season of closeness can carry the whole journey without fresh surrender, fresh prayer, and fresh nearness to me. Keep oil in your lamp, my beloved child, not as a burden, but as a holy rhythm of love. The lamp is the life within you that carries my light. The oil is the quiet relationship that keeps that light burning. It is not performance. It is not religious noise. It is not the appearance of devotion in front of others. It is the hidden place where your soul returns to me when no one is watching. There are people who carry lamps before others yet have little oil within. They know the words, they know the songs, they know how to appear steady. But when the night grows long, when waiting stretches, when disappointment presses, when no one applauds their faith, the lamp begins to fade, because the inner life was never nourished deeply. My beloved child, I do not say this to frighten you. I say it to invite you back to the source. Remember the parable my son told about the wise and foolish virgins. All carried lamps, all waited, all appeared ready from a distance. But the wise had oil with their lamps, and the foolish did not prepare what could not be borrowed in the final moment. The lesson was not about looking prepared. It was about being inwardly prepared. It was about the hidden oil that only a soul living close to me can carry. My beloved child, there are things no one else can keep for you. Another person can encourage you, pray for you, teach you, and walk beside you, but no one can live your secret life with me in your place. No one can surrender your heart for you. No one can keep your inner flame alive while you refuse the oil of my presence. Community is a blessing, but communion with me cannot be outsourced. Do not let your lamp become only something people see. Let it be something I fill. Come to me in the quiet before the day scatters your thoughts. Come to me when the evening settles and your heart begins to feel what it carried. Come to me in the small pauses between duties. Speak honestly, listen slowly. Let my word become oil, not merely information. Let prayer become breathing, not only asking. The oil of your lamp is replenished when you turn from noise to presence, when you choose truth over the voice of fear, when you forgive in obedience and bring the wound to me for healing, when you worship before you feel strong, when you sit with my word long enough for it to move from the page into your bones. These moments may seem small, but they keep your inner life from drying out. My beloved child, do not confuse activity for oil. You can be busy doing many good things and still become empty inside. You can serve, speak, plan, help, and carry responsibility, yet forget to receive from me. A lamp can stand in the right place and still run low. I do not want you to burn out while trying to shine. I want your light to flow from being filled, not from being forced. There are false oils the world will offer you. Attention can feel like oil for a moment, but it burns quickly and leaves the soul craving more. Success can feel like oil, but it cannot comfort you in the secret night. Approval can feel like oil, but it makes your lamp depend on the changing eyes of people. Pleasure can feel like oil, but if it leads you away from holiness, it leaves smoke where light should be. My oil is different. My presence steadies what applause cannot sustain. My spirit strengthens what motivation cannot carry. My love fills places that human recognition cannot reach. When my oil is in you, your light can remain through delays, quiet seasons, misunderstanding, and hidden obedience. You may flicker at times, but you will not be abandoned to darkness because the source of your flame is not the world. Keep oil in your lamp by returning before you are empty. Do not wait until your soul is dry before you come. Do not wait until your thoughts are scattered, your peace is thin, and your heart is cold. Come daily. Come simply. Come without pretending. Bring me your small faith and let me feed it. Bring me your tired love and let me renew it. Bring me your dim hope and let me breathe upon it. My beloved child, I know you live in a world that pulls your attention in many directions. The world asks you to hurry, compare, react, consume, and perform. It rarely asks you to be still enough to receive oil. That is why you must choose the hidden place again and again. Not with shame, not with pressure, with love. The lamp is precious because my light lives there. Your inner life is worth protecting. I will meet you in that simple return, and what seems hidden to others will become strength within you for the long road ahead with peace. Sometimes keeping oil will look like saying no. No to a voice that drains you. No to entertainment that darkens your spirit. No to worry that wants the throne. No to endless scrolling that leaves you restless. No to proving yourself to people who cannot fill you. Every no that protects communion becomes a yes to life. Every boundary that makes room for me becomes oil added quietly to the lamp. Sometimes keeping oil will look like receiving. Receiving rest, receiving mercy, receiving correction, receiving comfort, receiving the truth that you are loved before you are useful. My beloved child, let me pour into you without making you feel guilty for needing to be filled. A vessel is not ashamed to receive what it was created to hold. You were created to hold my light. So guard the rhythm of nearness. Guard the quiet yes. Guard the prayer whispered when no one hears. Guard the scripture that steadies you. Guard the gratitude that keeps your heart soft. Guard the repentance that keeps the lamp clean. Guard the worship that lifts your eyes back to me. These are not small things. They are the oil that keeps your soul awake in the night. And as I fill your lamp, I will also teach you to protect the flame. Oil feeds it, but watchfulness guards it. In the next place, I will speak to the fire I placed within you, the holy flame that darkness has tried to smother, and I will show you how to guard it with wisdom, courage, and a love that refuses to let the light of your soul fade. My beloved child, as I pour oil into the lamp of your soul, I now ask you to guard the flame I placed within you. Oil feeds the light, but watchfulness protects it. A flame can be alive and still need shelter from wind. A heart can be restored and still need wisdom. A soul can carry my light and still need to turn away from what tries to smother it quietly. Do not think the flame within you is small because it does not impress the world. I do not measure fire by noise. I do not measure devotion by applause. I see the hidden glow that remains when you pray with tired words. I see the spark that still turns toward me after disappointment. I see the holy desire in you that refuses to belong to darkness, even after long nights have tried to make you cold. My beloved child, darkness often does not arrive as darkness. It may come as distraction, as delay, as old comfort, as a voice that tells you to stop caring, as a habit that numbs what I am trying to heal. It may come through bitterness that feels justified, through comparison that feels ordinary, through fear that pretends to be caution, through compromise that says it is only this once. Guard the flame, because what is holy can be dimmed slowly when the heart stops paying attention. I have placed something sacred within you, a calling, a tenderness, a hunger for truth, a desire to live in my presence, a light that can comfort others, not because you never suffered, but because my grace has met you in suffering. Do not treat that flame as common. Do not expose it carelessly to every influence, every conversation, every image, every craving, every atmosphere that leaves your spirit weaker than before. Remember Daniel, my beloved child. He lived in a place where many voices tried to shape him, yet he kept an inward altar before me. He served with wisdom, but he did not surrender his devotion. When pressure rose, he did not abandon the rhythm of prayer. His window remained open toward me. His faith was not only public courage, it was hidden consistency. The flame stayed alive because the secret place remained guarded. This is what I desire for you. Not a life that runs away from every hard place, but a soul that knows how to remain, mine in the middle of pressure. You may live among noise, but noise does not have to live within you. You may walk through a world filled with false lights, but false lights do not have to rule your eyes. You may hear many voices, but my voice can still become the one your heart follows most closely. Guard the flame by guarding your yes. Do not give your yes to everything that asks for it. Your time, attention, affection, agreement, and energy are not meaningless. Each yes opens a door. Each yes feeds something. Each yes either strengthens the flame or steals oxygen from it. Ask me before you agree. Ask me before you return. Ask me before you let something near the inner room again. My beloved child, there will be moments when protecting the flame requires walking away. Joseph walked away from temptation because he knew that some doors must not be negotiated with. He did not stand there trying to prove strength by staying near the danger. He fled, and in heaven, that was wisdom. Sometimes leaving is not weakness. Sometimes leaving is worship. Sometimes the holiest decision is to remove yourself before the flame is crowded by smoke. There will also be moments when protecting the flame requires rebuilding what has been broken. Remember Nehemiah, who saw the walls of Jerusalem torn down and did not pretend the damage was small. He prayed, rose, and rebuilt with watchfulness. Some held tools and some stood guard. My beloved child, this is how restoration often works. You rebuild your prayer life while guarding your peace. You rebuild trust while guarding your boundaries. You rebuild joy while guarding what enters your heart. Do not be ashamed that guarding is necessary. Precious things are guarded. A garden is fenced not because the flowers are weak, but because they are valuable. A lamp is shielded not because the flame is false, but because the night has winds. Your soul is worth protecting. Your peace is worth protecting. Your desire for me is worth protecting. The grace I have begun in you is worth protecting. I will teach you how to guard without fear. Fear guards by closing everything. Wisdom guards by staying near me. Fear says, trust no one. Wisdom says, trust God first and let Him show you what belongs near. Fear makes you cold. Wisdom makes you clear. Fear builds prisons. Wisdom builds gates. Gates can open when I lead and close when I warn. This is the protection I want for you. My beloved child, keep the flame alive through repentance, not the kind that makes you hide in shame, but the kind that quickly returns to light. When you notice smoke within your soul, come to me. When you have wandered, come back. When your heart has grown dull, return. Do not let pride keep you distant. Do not wait until the flame is barely visible. My mercy receives the returning heart and breathes life into what is weak. Keep the flame alive through gratitude. Gratitude is like a shield against the coldness of entitlement. It reminds your soul that life is still gift, that mercy is still present, that I am still faithful. Thank me for the bread, the breath, the closed door, the quiet strength, the unseen protection, the lesson, the comfort, the correction, the grace that met you again. Gratitude keeps the heart warm. Keep the flame alive through love. Not love that loses itself, but love that flows from being loved by me first. Let your words carry light. Let your presence bring peace. Let your compassion be guided by truth. Let your boundaries be guided by wisdom. Let your forgiveness be guided by grace. You are not protecting the flame so you can hide it forever. You are protecting it so it can shine cleanly. My beloved child, the flame I placed within you is not meant to die in this season. It is meant to rise. It is meant to guide your steps, warm your heart, and remind others that hope is still possible. The world may grow loud, but my light in you can remain steady. The night may be long, but it cannot defeat what I guard. So stay near me, keep oil in the lamp, guard the flame with attention, walk away from what smothers it. Return quickly when it flickers. Receive my breath when you feel weak. I am not finished with you. I have seen you, healed you, restored your sight, filled your lamp, and now I will keep the flame alive. Go forward as my beloved child, carrying light that came from me, protected by me, and shining until many who wander in darkness find their way home.